Well, Mr. President, it looks like we're going to have a shutdown. What does that tell us? I'll tell you what it tells me. It's simply that much more evidence that human evolution is a slow process. I thought humans had advanced more as a species, but apparently we haven't. What do I mean by a shutdown? Well, we can't keep government open without a budget. And tonight at midnight, our current budget expires unless we vote to maintain the status quo and continue the current budget as we negotiate a new one.
Welcome to Liberty Trigger. Patriots, buckle up, because once again, Washington, D.C. is proving that common sense is on life support. I just watched that speech about the looming government shutdown, and let me tell you something. It's not just a shutdown of government operations. It's a shutdown of honesty, accountability, and responsibility in our country. Now, let's get the facts straight.
Many of my Democratic friends say, well, what's the problem? The Republicans are in charge. The president's a Republican, and the Republicans have a majority in the Senate, and the Republicans have a majority in the House. What's the problem? They know what the problem is. We can't pass a budget. We can't keep government open just with Republican votes here in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans. We need 7 Democrats to join with us. So for my Democratic colleagues to say, well, the Republicans are in charge and they don't need us, they know that's not accurate. And that's what's going on. Now, we've had a few shutdowns before, and every shutdown is different, but most shutdowns are a combination of both policy and politics in varying degrees. This shutdown, in terms of policy, makes absolutely no sense. None. What we have proposed to our Democratic colleagues and the minority leader, Senator Schumer, is to make no changes to the current budget. We just want to continue the current budget and keep government open until just before Thanksgiving to give us more time to negotiate a permanent budget. We did that many times when President Biden was president and when the Democrats had the majority. In fact, we did it 13 times. Not only have Republicans done it, but Democrats have routinely done it. But this time, the Democrats have said, no. We want more. And you may be thinking, okay, that's reasonable. What do you want? Well, it's not reasonable. In effect, what the Democrats are saying to us is that we're going to close government unless you Republicans agree to make it bigger. We don't want the status quo. We want you to commit to spending $1.5 trillion more than you're spending now. And we, the Democrats are saying, are going to tell you how to spend it. First, they want us to repeal all of the Medicaid reforms that we did in the reconciliation bill. Some call it the One Big Beautiful Bill. The One Big Beautiful Bill would not reduce Medicaid. In fact, it would go up about 2% every year as a result of our bill. But it would say to people who are on Medicaid, who aren't eligible for Medicaid, that you're not going to get Medicaid anymore. Dual eligibles, people who sign up in Louisiana and Mississippi, that's fraud. Under our bill, they would be thrown off. The Democrats want them put back on. Under our changes in the one big beautiful bill that the Democrats want us to reverse, you would have to satisfy certain income levels to be on Medicaid. The law says if you make too much money, you can't get Medicaid because Medicaid is for the poor. In my state, we have found people through audits making $120,000 a year on Medicaid. So our bill, which the Democrats want us to repeal after just passing it, would say to those people that if you don't meet the income limits, you can't get Medicaid. So that's the first demand of the Democrats. Take out all the reforms that we made to Medicaid in the reconciliation bill and throw them out the window.
Republicans have offered a clean deal. No cuts, no crazy policy riders. Just keep the current budget going until Thanksgiving so negotiations can continue. Sounds reasonable, right? But the Democrats? Nope. They've dug in their heels and said, not good enough. We want $1.5 trillion in new spending, and we want our way. Patriots, that's not negotiation, that's extortion. Let's talk about what they want. First, they want to rip apart the Medicaid reforms we just passed. Reforms that stop fraud, that say if you're making six figures, you shouldn't be on Medicaid. Seems like common sense. Medicaid is for the poor, not for someone pulling in $120,000 a year. But Democrats? They want to open the floodgates again, let ineligible people cash in, and make you pay for it with your tax dollars. Second, Obamacare subsidies. Remember when Obama promised cheaper health care? Yeah, we all know how that turned out. Higher premiums, fewer options, and taxpayer-funded giveaways. During the pandemic, they expanded subsidies to cover even folks making $150,000, $200,000 a year. That was supposed to be temporary relief. But now, Schumer and his buddies want it permanent. Translation, middle-class Americans will keep footing the bill for high-income earners who don't need it. That, my friends, is insanity. Let's be honest here. This isn't about keeping the government open. This is about the radical left using fear as a weapon. They know seniors are worried about Social Security checks, veterans depend on the VA, and families count on food programs. So what do? They hold those people hostage to push a socialist wish list. And if Republicans say no, the Democrats scream, you're shutting down the government. That's manipulation. That's politics at its worst. And let's not kid ourselves. This is being driven by the radical, socialist wing of the Democratic Party. These are the same people who think America's founding fathers were villains, who push open borders, who want taxpayer-funded sex changes for kids, and who cheer on socialist mayors that side with terrorists over our allies. Patriots, this isn't the Democratic Party of your grandparents. This is the Democratic Party of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and the rest of the far-left circus. Here's the kicker. Republicans aren't even asking for new cuts right now. They're simply saying, let's freeze things where they are until we can hammer out a long-term deal. That's it. That's the offer. And Democrats refuse because they want more. More spending, more handouts, more power. Now, I know some of you are worried about the shutdown. Let me put your mind at ease. Social Security checks will still go out. Veterans will still get their care. Food stamps and WIC will still operate. The essentials stay open. What will close are parks, museums, and yes, hundreds of thousands of federal employees will be furloughed. But the truth is, the average American won't even notice most of it. What they will notice is how Democrats are willing to grind the country to a halt to chase their utopian fantasies. And let me just say this. We as patriots cannot sit back and let this narrative be twisted. This shutdown, if it happens, will be 100% on Democrats. They had a chance to keep the lights on, to buy more time for negotiations. And they said no unless they could hold the American people hostage for $1.5 trillion. That's not governing, that's a shakedown. America is $34 trillion in debt. Our borders are being overrun. Inflation is eating our paychecks. And what do Democrats want? More spending, more entitlements, and more government control. And if they don't get it, they'll happily scare the elderly, hurt families, and point the finger at Republicans. That's their game plan. Patriots, we need leaders with backbone, Leaders who aren't afraid to say no to the radical left. Leaders who put America first, not political power plays. Because this fight isn't just about budgets. It's about the future of our country. Do we want to be a nation of fiscal responsibility, of fairness, of freedom? Or do we want to be a nation enslaved to debt, entitlements, and socialism? As for me, I stand with the patriots who are willing to fight. This shutdown is not on us. It's on the Democrats who are demanding America's destruction in exchange for keeping the lights on. We cannot surrender. We will not surrender. Because at the end of the day, freedom is worth the fight. This is Liberty Trigger. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe, because the truth needs to be louder than their lies. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.